Hi, Jack. Welcome back to my channel. I'm doing another review on these Powerline, the TP Powerline boxes that I actually have and I use in my own home because obviously they've got quite a lot of viewings on this, and there's been a few questions that sort of says the same sort of thing. So I thought I'll do a bit more detail on actually how these and how easy they are to set up. So I just wanted to quickly go into it. So this sort of complies with very much other manufacturers. When you buy these Powerline boxes, you always have one small one, which is the master one. Then you have a secondary one, which you can plug anywhere in the house. Once you've got them linked, this one goes anywhere. This one has to stay next to your router. Don't plug them into four-way extension sockets. I tend to have issues. Some work fine, others have an issue. So in my scenario I found in my home, I had this one plugged into an extension socket next to my router. This was then plugged into the main physical socket on the wall, basically. They worked to a point, and then I had little dropout issues, and I think that's more to do because one was an extension socket. For these best to work brilliantly is make sure they're actually physically in the main socket. You can buy extras of these that has a throughput for power. So if you're running an extension socket off the one on the wall and you've got you can't plug it anywhere else, you can get these additional ones. You buy them separately, then you can plug straight into the wall, then plug your extension lead into the one that comes with it. But because this is a kit, it doesn't have the throughput on this one, but you can buy the extras to do that with. So I'm just going to show you how to reset these back up, what these are on the front floor, and how you would position these in your household. Find a double socket in your house that's actually, you can plug these side by side against each other, because you need to be side by side to make the sync, or you'll be running back from one room to the other and you get quite tired out quite quickly. And I've done this. I've actually had that one downstairs, this one upstairs, and I've been running up and downstairs. They give you a set time between them, so when you push the pair buttons on one, and then gives you enough time to go upstairs, pair up another one, otherwise sometimes it times out. I've been caught out by that, and it can be a timeless thing. So get these both boxes, plug them into the physical wall on the wall socket to make sure they're next door to each other, so you can then easily flick the pair buttons and wait for them to sync nicely. So once you've done that, plug them both in. Remember, the smallest one is always the master one. It always has a one single port on the bottom, which we call an RJ45 port. That's for Ethernet. And the second one tends to have 2, 1, and it always seems to be a Wi-Fi hotspot type point. So that'll go anywhere in the house. This has to be next to your router or within a certain amount of meters of your router. So plug them both into the socket on the wall. On the master one first, press the pair button, so when the light starts flashing. On the second one, locate the pair button on the bottom on this one here. There might be in a different location, on depends what make of Powerline you have. Hold that for a few seconds, that should start flashing. Then wait for them to go basically solid green. So once it goes solid green, it means they're paired together correctly and they're ready to go. Okay. Make sure this one is actually left in the plug socket next to your router. Take your router Ethernet cable. If you've got a spare one, you might have to buy one if you've not one. They normally come with a couple spare cables for you. So locate the cable, plug this one into that master one, and then plug the other end of it into your router. In the back of your router, you normally come with 4 Ethernet ports. It doesn't matter which one you plug it into it, as long as you don't plug it into the WAN interface. So if you're running some sort of funny router that has a WAN port that's free and it's running an ADSL modem, make sure it runs in the one that's got the 4 ports next door to each other, not the separate single one. Plugged it in there. A light should go green on here to show that's actually now connected to your router and it's passing internet traffic up to this plug socket here. Okay. Then take the second one you've got, unplug it, run it upstairs or whatever room you want to put this in, plug it in the wall, and then wait for all these lights to come up. Once it all show nice and green, which just means A-OK, then you'll check the sync light on here to see if it's still solid green. You might get a bit of flickering, that basically means they're talking to each other. So if you've got a game console, hardwire cable you'll need, plug that into one of the Ethernet ports on the bottom there, plug that one into your gaming console. You can plug a second one in here into a PC or a laptop. If you don't want to use the physical hardwire cable ports, you can use the Wi-Fi built onto this, and there normally details are located on here as defaults, and you normally get like a business card to explain to you what the wireless key and number is. You can go onto the router on here and you can change the settings so you can match, if you match those SSID numbers to exactly the same as your normal standard router in the house, it would then basically mean you wouldn't have to have a separate wireless network. So long as the SSID is the same as your main router and the password is identically the same, then these will act like access points. So then you wouldn't have to do any changing on your mobile phones or devices that run off wireless. Another good thing about these wireless ones, you can have, for this particular model, you can have two PCs. So you can have a gaming console or a PC or a laptop plugged into the second one. And you can also use the Wi-Fi at exactly the same time. It will work fine, okay? If you just want to use it as an access point, great, then you don't have to plug them in there. But at least you've got a backup one. If you need to plug a cable into it for a particular device, you have the option to do this. You can buy these second ones as additional ones, and the pairing is the same. You will then hit the pairing button on your new one you've got, but as long as it's in the plug socket first, hit the pair button, it should then pair up with the master socket, which is this very small one here. So once that's paired, then you can then put that into another room. So you can, in theory, you can have one for each room. So they're not very expensive. These TPA lines are very sort of cheap lines to pack. The pack itself is about 60 quid, I think it is. You can buy these separately for probably under 60 quid each. And you can then plug that into each room, so long as it's on a main master socket that's on the wall. I've tried them on extension sockets. They work okay, but I've seen to have a lot of issues where it keeps dropping the connection, and then I have to then switch it on and off. Comes back, works for a while, and then disconnects. So I've got a feeling they don't really work very well on extension sockets, even though they are designed to, but they obviously in theory don't obviously work. So try and put these in plug sockets actually physically on the wall itself, and you shouldn't have any problems of actually using these little boxes. Quite good. I've been using mine for quite a few months now. I've had a few issues, as I said. I've had the master one in an actual extension socket, which I shouldn't have done. I think that's what's causing my problem here. So I'm going to reprogram these one back up, and I'm going to try them in the house on physical sockets, because this video is all about comparing, testing, and try things out. Because what the manufacturers always tell you is not always the case in when you actually physically are using them themselves. But these are very easy to set up. Again, as I said, push the pair button on here. They should pair up very quickly, and then just move around the house. Make sure this one's always by your router. You can be away from your router as long as it's not too far. And again, as long as you've got enough Ethernet cable, it can't go over 300 meters. These may have, without looking at the instruction manual, they may have a limit on how far this has to be between your routers. But normally, if it's the Ethernet rules and laws, then it should be no more than 100 meters roughly, or shorter the better basically. So you can put this next door to your router, so it's in the same another socket next door to your router itself, then it's easy to plug it in there, plug it in, and away you go. But if this is on the other side of the room, so make sure you've got enough Ethernet cable that allow you to plug that one and plug it into the back of your router. So remember to make sure on the back of the router, there's normally comes with 4 ports, Ethernet ports. Plug it into a free one of those, and then you should be okay. Then you have DHCP running down your cable, and you should have internet working pretty good. So any questions on that, please remember guys to subscribe, thumbs up for my videos, and put details below, and I'll actually get back to you as quick as I can on this one, and answer any comments you may have as well. So is there anything particularly you want me to look at more close up at, then let me know. So this is, I'll do a quick close up on this one. So this is the master one. You can tell it's a master one because they always come one single Ethernet port, and they don't have any Wi-Fi access here at all. It's just literally a power connectors, sync lights, and the Ethernet port lights on here, and you have a pair button on here. So that will always go next to your router. Second one, quick recap on here. It tends to have 2 or 1 port at the bottom there, depends what model or make you buy. It's got a pair light, it's got a reset button as well. And again, it's got the indications on here, power, Ethernet, sync lights, and activity and stuff. And also has the wireless light to say it's actually broadcasting wirelessly. So it's very straightforward. And these are the most simplest ones on the market. Going back a few years ago, you used to have to set these up, you used to have to program them. You used to take a number from the bottom here, put it into the master one, compare it, and it was hard. But these were brilliant. Out of the box, press sync, pair buttons, done, dusted. Nice and easy. Again, make sure you plug them in the main sockets. Always work best that way. That's what I found out anyway. So I hope this is helpful. If it's helpful or you've got questions, comment below and I'll actually answer them. So thanks for watching guys. Take care and see you soon. Cheers.